I was struggling. I knew I was at the end of my rope, and it wasn't a good rope. So when I did die, these things, they came up out of the floorboards. They were coming through the walls, and then the big guy came, and he came initially as a snake. He appeared as a snake in front of me, and then he morphed into a human, a man, and a really handsome man. And I kind of tried to shake the fear by going, wow, that's where they get the term devilishly handsome from, because he was so handsome. He had the square jaw and but his eyes were reptilian and they would undulate, and he was trying to hypnotize me.
Hi, everybody. It's your girl E, and this is another episode of the Vision Rebirth podcast. This is a podcast where we explore life-changing stories of near-death experiences, out-of-body experiences, divine dreams, meditations, and encounters with other beings. Today, we have a special guest. She is a facilitator and speaker and author of a #1 internationally best-selling book called The 5 Lessons of Life. We have Carrie Kohan. How are you doing today, Carrie?
I am fantastic with an intro like that. How can I not be? Oh my gosh. Thanks so much, Erikka. It's wonderful to be on your show.
Of course.
Yeah.
Okay, so for sure. So, you had 2 NDEs, right? And so I want to start with the first one, of course, where you actually said you went to hell, to the darker place. Can you talk about what was going on in your life at that time?
Oh, I was a pretty sad camper back then, I tell you. I had been drinking up a storm. I was an alcoholic, I believe. Actually, I don't like the term alcoholic, because at the time I was drinking very heavily, but I've let go of alcohol without any issues whatsoever. And I had an abortion. And so I was beating myself up because I really wanted to keep that child. But back in the 80s, 1988, it was sacrilegious to have a child out of wedlock. It was so shameful. And we were bringing so much shame to our families by, having a baby out of wedlock and not being married and living together. And oh my gosh. And my fiance at the time, his mother died the same day that I was saying, just go tell your mom, and she was in hospice for a long, long time. And she died the day that he was going to go tell her. So we decided to go ahead with the abortion, and it just about killed me along with our child. So for the next 4 years, I drank heavily and I was beating myself up, and I died. I choked on my own vomit. I had been drinking so heavily that, alcohol poisoning. And what was interesting was that I always thought I was a good person. I thought that I had volunteered all my life at senior homes, and I hadn't had a boyfriend until I was 20. I never tried drugs. I was really overall I thought an ideal citizen, but I was beating myself up relentlessly. I hated myself for what I had done. And but what I came to discover was that when I met with what we would know as the devil himself, I came toe to toe with him. And I was an atheist at the time. I didn't want to believe in a God, because I thought, if I believe in God or Jesus, they'll judge me for what I've done and I'm going to hell. And so when I died, guess what? I was going to the dark place.
That's where you went.
Yeah. Well, I didn't even go there. It came to me. I was dead and hovering over my body, and these gremlin things started coming out of the floor. They were little black creatures, and I had seen them for a long time before my death. I had heard them. I heard the growling. I could hear the hissing noise from them for about 6 months, maybe even a year before my death. And I knew I was struggling.
Hold on, you heard that just randomly? You heard those randomly, like in your day-to-day life?
Yeah, in day-to-day life. Wow. Every time I come home, they'd be there and they'd growl and hiss at me. So let me go back. I'm Métis. I'm Aboriginal. by birth. And so my mom, she was in a residential school. She was Native, and she's Ojibwe and Cree. So that makes me Ojibwe and Cree as well. And so at the age of 3, I was fully psychic. I could see things. I was clairvoyant, clairsentient, clairaudient. I could hear,
Okay.
smell, feel everything. So when I came into the deaths, 2 of them, it just amplified the gifts that we all have, I believe, but I was very much aware of right from 3 years old. So I would see ghosts and spirits all my life. I saw a lot of things during my lifetime. And so it didn't surprise me. I knew I was struggling. I knew I was at the end of my rope. And it wasn't a good rope. So when I did die, these things, they came up out of the floorboards. They were coming through the walls. And then the big guy came, and he came initially as a snake. He appeared as a snake in front of me, and then he morphed into a human, a man, and a really handsome man. And I kind of tried to shake the fear by going, wow, that's where they get the term devilishly handsome from, because he was so handsome. He had the square jaw and but his eyes were reptilian, and they would undulate, and he was trying to hypnotize me. And long story short, you got to read the book because it tells all the details. But in that moment, I realized, okay, if I'm standing with this demon thing, then there has to be a contrast. There has to be a God. There has to be a Jesus. There has to be goodness. And so at that moment, I thought, F it. I have nothing to lose. I was an atheist. I'm going to call in God and Jesus to be by my side. And I'm getting truth bumps, goosebumps as I'm telling this. But they came, and immediately as they stood beside me, that thing's eyes like bugged out, and he flew. He ran as fast as he could, because his energy cannot sustain in the light of God, light of Jesus, the power of that pure energy. And so he was gone. And that was the start of my journey with spirit in my heart and in my soul. And I've been learning ever since. So to my surprise, a year later, I died for a second time, because I changed my life completely. I stopped drinking. I really got on path. I moved to a community where everyone was like-minded. We were really spiritual. So this is 1993 by now. And I'm living in like a hippy dippy house where everyone's very spiritual. And it was fun because back then we'd have Eckhart Tolle would come and visit. He'd hang out in the kitchen. This is before anyone was famous. So Eric Edmeades was my boyfriend back then. He's gone on to work with Tony Robbins, of course, and he's the founder of Wild Fit. So we were all kids back then, and we were discovering ourselves. We were in our 20s, late 20s, right? And I think I was the oldest at 29 back then. So anyways, I had met my future husband, my first husband, and I was packing up, getting ready to move in with him after only knowing him like 3 weeks. We were engaged after 2 weeks.
That was fast.
We just knew. Very fast. Just to digress a little bit there, I had dreams since I was a little girl, and it was a reoccurring dream. I don't know if your listeners have ever had reoccurring dreams, but they are amazing. And they're, have you?
Yeah, I have.
Like what? What kind of recurring dream have you had?
Some of them is just like the regular where, you're in the classroom and like you're naked or something like that. I'm in my old house that I grew up in, and like something is happening, like I'm either trying to stop it from getting robbed, I'm trying to help someone, like something like that. Usually is like the reoccurring ones, like kind of like nightmarish ones.
Totally. So I found those ones when they're involving like your house or your family members and you're protecting. Usually those are premonitions. Those are ones that are, beware, something's coming in, and you need to put the light around, right?
Interesting.
and almost always those are premonitions for me. But this was a reoccurring dream from the age of 3. I remember it distinctly. And it went on to about 14 years old. And then it jumped, and it was again towards just before I met my first husband, because my reoccurring dream was I was in heaven and I was with a little boy. We were like 8, 9 years old, and we were sitting on a log looking out over an ocean. And I was bawling because I had to leave before him. And I was saying, well, you know, how will you find me? You're not going to find me. And he was reassuring me, saying, it's all right. I'm going to find you. And I was like, but there's so many possibilities you won't. And he was like my bestie, you know? And so
Right.
anyways, he had piercing blue eyes. His eyes were very unique. And fast forward, here I'm praying to meet this person. I had a couple of rough relationships, and finally I walked through the door of Anthony Robbins and Associates, and in Vancouver. And this is 1993, and I saw his eyes, and I was like, oh my God,
And you
there he
knew.
is.
Did he know? Did
He
he?
knew. Yeah,
Okay.
he actually said to his friend, he goes, who is that girl? And he goes, oh, that's Carrie. You know, I had a different last name. And he goes, oh, that's Carrie. She just broke up with her boyfriend like 3 days ago. She won't be dating anyone. And he goes, date her. I'm going to marry that girl. And
Now,
2 weeks later,
he have the same background as you? Because what did you say you were?
So we both worked with Tony Robbins for about from 93 to 98, so 5 years. And I don't know if you know Anthony Robbins, but he's a motivational speaker. Yeah.
Well,
Do you know
I
him?
know Tony. I know Tony Robbins. I haven't heard of Anthony, but I know Tony
Tony.
Robbins for sure.
Tony Robbins is short for Anthony Robbins. Yeah.
Oh,
That's
wow. How about that? How about that? How about that? Okay, now I'm connecting because I just know it as Tony. Right? Okay, you know his whole thing. Like you like, oh, that's Ant. That's Ant to you.
Oh yeah, no, it was big.
That's awesome.
It was like, and the funny thing was, I did the personal power tapes in 1988, and just after the abortion, and that's actually what saved me from an early exit, because I was thinking an early exit back then. And
you should know, I was born in 1988.
Are you kidding me?
Oh, yeah, wow. I was born in 1988.
I can say the same for me. I was reborn in 1988, because that was like a new birth, right? So we were both, right. You know, yeah. I'm a kid at heart. So, anyways, I worked with Tony shortly after that. It was 5 years later. I ended up becoming his business partner. Who knew? But wow. In that 5 years, I was an actress. I was on MacGyver, 21 Jump Street, all those shows back in the early 90s. And then God had a different plan for me. And I had an accident where I had really long blonde hair, and I was getting highlights in it. And the girl burnt my hair. And so, like acid burn, and my hair fell out in clumps. So I couldn't act anymore. So I went behind the scenes, became a casting director, and then the rest is history. But I ended up working with Tony during those years, and I met my ex-husband. So going back to my second death, here I'm in this hippy dippy house. I had just met my first husband, Miles, and in the book I call him Michael, because all through our time together, we were together for 11 years. And all during that time, I kept always calling him Michael. And I was like, what the heck? You must have been supposed to be named Michael, or maybe you were Michael on the other side. And so it was just natural to call him Michael in the book, because I think that's what his actual name was. Spirit name is Michael.
Right. Interesting.
So, yeah.
So, but was he aware of was he aware of the life that you guys had in the spiritual?
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. He was really spiritual back then as well. He was, we couldn't have gotten along the way that we did, had he not been open as well. And he had some really neat experiences. He saw the Akashic records. He traveled into the Akashic records. Yeah. And so he taught me quite a bit. Yeah, and so I was really open with him. He was the first person that I could be 100% open to, and I knew he loved me unconditionally. And that was a
Wow.
huge thing because, you know, when you're spiritual like this all your life, there's so much judgment. There's so
Yeah.
much, you know what it's like, right? When you
Yeah.
want to share what you're experiencing and you're afraid of it,
Yeah, nobody
right?
don't yeah, nobody really want to hear about it. Yeah.
No, no, they think you're freaking Looney Tune,
Yeah, nobody really
right?
want to hear about it. Yeah.
No. Well, I think thankfully things have changed in the last probably 10, 15 years, especially. But back then, 1990, 1993, oh gosh, you would have been five, and things have changed a lot since 93, that's for sure. But we're growing, and
Right.
so anyways, I had my second near death experience, and gosh, it was so beautiful. It was unlike the first, and I got to meet with Creator, with Jesus. I sat on Jesus's lap for a
So
good
what
long
was
time. It
Jesus
felt,
what was Jesus
yeah.
like, and like what did he look like?
Um, okay, so Akiana the artist, the girl that when she was 12, she painted Jesus, the Prince of Peace. Do you
Okay,
remember
I have to look
her
that up.
artwork?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I have to look
So
that up.
Akiana
Okay.
did this painting. Yeah. And it made me cry the first time I saw it because it was so accurate. That is the Jesus that I met. And I
Okay.
literally welled up in tears when I saw that painting because no one had captured his soul like she did. And
Wow.
so again, getting goosebumps, truth bumps I call them, right? Yeah, as we speak about things. Yeah.
What
So
was the difference between Jesus and God the creator? Like were they both like men and God was like bigger or something? Like how like what was
okay. Yeah. So I believe that you see spirit, creator, God, in the way that you grew up knowing God to be. So for
okay.
me, God was the white haired beard and the longer white hair and really wise
Right.
looking and beautiful. And his beard literally glistened. He was a beautiful soul.
Interesting.
Whereas Jesus, he looked just like we would know Jesus as
Right.
the longer hair, a bit of a growth, and yeah, he was just beautiful. So, but
Wow.
what I came to realize in meeting God for the first time, uh, I landed in what we would know as heaven, but I heard it as the white void, and
Hmm.
it reminded me of the Matrix. The movie The Matrix came out a couple of years later, and I think it was 95 or something. And so that white room in the Matrix, that
Yeah,
blinding white room,
when Morpheus
that's what,
was teaching Neo. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Well, actually, no, this was when, who was it? I don't even remember. I'd be guessing. The guy was in like a brilliant white room and it was all the TVs. And
Oh,
Neo,
when he was talking to the creator, like when he was talking to Source.
creator? Yes, yeah. Was that creator he was talking
Oh,
to? Well, there you go.
yeah,
Okay, so
yeah.
that's what it was like. It was like this blinding white. It was like a wall-less room. It felt like it went on forever, but at the same time, it felt like we were in like a bubble, right?
Hmm.
And it was blinding white. So I was looking down at what I was sitting on because it felt like a cloud. It looked like a cloud. It looked really soft and white and radiant, but it felt like pure love. The energy was coming up and through
Hmm.
it, and it was solid enough to be a chair, right? So anyways, I remember looking down at it, and then I sensed something in front of me. I looked up, and there was someone there. Kind of shocked me, and it was God. And so
Wow.
um in that moment, all of a sudden, it was like they were giving me a bunch of downloads, and I realized we were talking telepathically, that they were giving me images as well as audio transmissions, like I could hear them, and saying them. Initially, it was just God, but then it was Jesus and the Council of Men. So, anyways, when I first met God, it was like I saw him, but then I saw so many other ways that he shows himself to be. And then I realized God is actually just pure energy. And
Mm.
it depends on how you see or grew up believing in God. That's what will
That's
appear
it's
in
gonna
front of
take
you.
that form. Okay.
Yeah. So I
Interesting.
asked Creator, I could hear like, so many different names coming through. And I said, what name do I call you? And he said, it matters less the name that you call me as long as you call my name. And I was like,
Mm.
wow, that's profound, because he's just saying, you need to call upon me. You need
Yeah.
to, doesn't matter the label. Doesn't matter if we say God, and God's being used in, the name of so many wars and stuff. So a lot of people don't like to use the word God anymore. It's just a label. It's
Yeah.
pure light energy is what I saw. And so yeah, he appeared to me as the beautiful white bearded man, but I also understood him to be that he's just pure love, pure light. And
And,
and Jesus does the same. Yeah.
and, and what was the council of men like? Like what was
Yeah.
that all about?
Oh, that was profound. Um, okay, so after I was speaking with God, Jesus came up, and I had a little bit of a conversation with Jesus, and then Jesus disappeared, and God was turning away and walking away from me, and I thought, oh no, it's judgment time. Here we go. They're gonna judge me. Ugh, it was pretty tough. So, anyways, all of a sudden I'm transported and I'm sitting in a chair, and there's a semicircle of men around me, and Creator is right in front, and to his left is a spirit and a man, and there was a bunch of men. So there were 13 in total. Creator was number 13. There were 6 on both sides. And
Okay.
the one right beside him was what I would call the elder. And so he spoke for the entire council, and they just gave me a series of lessons. I asked, am I dead? Because I had had a heart attack in my second one, and I've had heart attacks all my life. I have a stent in my heart now.
Oh,
And
wow.
yeah, so I started young, right? And anyways, I said, am I dead? And the elder, he what did he say? He said something to the effect that you're neither dead nor alive. You're in a zone right now. You're in the white void, and so it's your choice. You can return and continue on, or you can stay with us and terminate your life. Right?
So you were like in
It's a
limbo.
decision. I was in limbo. Yeah, totally.
Okay.
In the white void, because there's a difference. You can go into limbo in the gray void. There's a black void, a gray void, and a white void is what I came to know. And the black void is where it's an illusion, and it's where all illusion begins. It's where you create the life that you want to live. So
That's
you
like
can
the
actually
quantum
reinvent
field.
yourself.
That's
Quantum
like the
field,
quantum field.
exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. Yeah,
Interesting.
you get it. Yeah, exactly. So it's in our Aboriginal belief system, we believe that Raven is a gatekeeper of the black void, right? I've heard that for, I don't know, 30, 40 years now, 30 years, anyways. And the gatekeeper of the black void is where all illusion begins. So you can actually, through your dream time, through your meditation, your breath work, you can actually set the intention to go into the black void. And in the black void, you can't have any negative thoughts. It's such a pure energy that you cannot manifest negative thoughts. It's really a wild experience. And so, especially at the time for me, because I was really good at negative thoughts. Right?
Mm.
I was a master at it. And what they showed me was that our holy grail per se is mastering our thought process. The
Mm.
moment that we let go of all that negative dialogue, all that stinking thinking thoughts, the moment that we step into positive thoughts and
Okay.
affirmations and reaffirmations, the moment that we take control of our own thought process, that's when everything is going to shift on this planet. And because I believe that I'm participating in your illusion and you're participating in my illusion, right? So this is a world that in my construct, it's like a computer generated program. And this is what I'm in right now. And you're agreeing to be in mine, I'm agreeing to be in yours. But most of the time we spend it separate, right? And we're growing at our own rate in our own illusion. So, so when
like we're
they
playing our
say,
own game.
totally, it's like a computer game. And what level are you at? Are you over at level 2? Jeez, I'm at level 6. Ha! But it's not a competition. Right? It's like, let me help you. Okay, this is an easy one. You get through that gate and you fight this guy and and then you get into this one. And then you go through that door, right? And that's really, as a facilitator, that's what I'm doing now, is I'm helping people raise their vibration and find shortcuts so they don't have to take this long path that I did. The shortcuts being through meditation, through breath work, through setting your intentions and taking control of your mind and your thoughts for the better. So
now I have a question about the voids again, because it was the dark void first, and then it's the gray void.
So you have the black void, the gray void, and the white void, which makes sense, right? The white and the black and becomes gray in between.
So what's the gray? So the gray void is really the limbo area.
It really is. It's like an abyss. It's what we would call a living hell. I believe that's what hell is. And it's not permanent. There's no fire and brimstone or anything like that. It's where your guilt lies, where your negative thinking lies, and everyone gets out of it. Everyone goes into the white void. But there's the illusion of time as well. So some feel that they're trapped in there, quote unquote, for a very long time because they're struggling. But really, it's like that because time is not linear. It's not, 100 years that we're on this planet. They showed me that it goes this way. So past, present, future are all in the now. And that's why we say we're in the now, right? Because time literally is like that fast. So
everything's happening all at once, like that movie.
Exactly. Yeah. They tell us in movies all the time. What the truth is, right? So going back to the gray void, people that leave prematurely through their own hands, we'll say, right? We have to be careful what we say now. But people that do that, they often go into that gray void. Not always. Some go straight to the white void. They go straight to heaven. They have a life review. They feel good. They rest for a bit. And then they get to come back and start all over again in the same time, not the same timeline, in a parallel dimension where they have the same parents, the same brothers, sisters, same situations, everything, till they get to the point where they left prematurely before. And either they continue in that circle going back and forth, or they get enough gumption that they're going to say no more of this, and then they go past it. It's
get
sort
to
of like
another
Groundhog
level.
Day. It's another level. Exactly. So it's like going from level 1 into level 2. So they hit the brick wall at level 1, and either they're going to go back and repeat, rinse and repeat, or they're going to go into level 2 and say, no, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm going to, step into who I truly am, and I'm going to embrace, all this struggle and trials and tribulations, and I'm going to get past it, darn it. And so when they do that, they mend that matrix, because up until that time, you have like a déjà vu often towards the end of your time, because you've broken the matrix many times. Yeah.
Right.
So you'll find at times in your life, you get, wow, I'm having déjà vus all the time right now.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Oh, wow.
And
so you're saying that so you mean like déjà vu means like that was the part of life that you entered already, but that you couldn't get past. But oh, wow, that's interesting.
Totally.
Okay.
So be aware when you're having a déjà vu, be aware of what's going on in your life. And it could be something as simple as in many lifetimes in the loop, you were just tired of being here. And so you decided, I'm going to leave early, and you have invited in a car accident or something like that
Right.
took you out. Because we have early exits that we can do. And we all know that we're going to come back into this loop until we get to the end of a lifetime where we're going, woohoo, we conquered it. We did it.
Like we beat the game. We beat the game.
Yeah, we got to the end of the game. Exactly. I love the analogy, right? Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
And until then, you got to repeat, and you get to do that endless loop. It's a clockwise rotation, in the loop. And
So people that
yeah.
reach old age, did they beat the game? Like people that reach old age, or
No, that doesn't guarantee you
okay,
nothing, because you can
okay,
get to the end of your life and being safe the whole time, or
yeah,
not done what you knew you were supposed to do. How many of my clients come to me going, I just feel like I'm wasting time and I'm not living my life purpose. And I know that I'm here to do something. I don't know what it is. And so I help them with their timelines. And we step into a parallel dimension where they're energized and they're really, okay, I know where I'm going now. And they're back on track. So that's the whole thing, is on your timeline. If you were to go forward imagine, Erikka, if I was to say, I want you to travel down into your future, and I want you
yeah.
to go and see yourself just before you're exiting, would you have any regrets?
Okay.
I feel
Yeah,
pretty good about you.
yeah,
There's some,
yeah,
but not
yeah. I was
huge,
about to say,
right?
yeah. I don't. Yeah,
Yeah,
I live pretty.
yeah, you're living your dream,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. But a lot of people that are listening right now, they're going to look at the end of their time and go, oh, damn it, I have been wasting time. I've
Like
been
they've been holding
playing it
themselves
safe.
back.
I've been playing small, right?
Yeah.
Because I didn't want
Interesting.
judgment. And don't judge yourself for playing small, because my gosh, I mean, we were crucified, we were hung at the stake, we were burned at the stake, we were, for living outside of the norm, for being herbalists, for being psychics, for speaking our truth. And so, yeah, I can see in this lifetime how, boy, that would be tough to come out of the spiritual closet. It was for me. I'm sure it was for you, right?
Yeah.
To actually start to speak your truth. And so that's why I
Hmm.
do my work, is that I came back to realize that, okay, I got to help people step into their authentic self energy and say, not going
Your
to play
authentic
small
self.
anymore. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I give workshops now. My book, it actually won third in the world for spirituality. If you look up the book, make sure you get the one with the award on it. It won third for spirituality and philosophy, and it's called The 5 Lessons of Life by Carrie Kohan. There's two
And
5 lessons of life out there, so make sure
and
you one
before,
from Carrie Kohan.
because I want to ask about a couple of those lessons, because the 5 lessons
Yeah,
of life: faith, trust, forgiveness, compassion, and unconditional love, right?
very good. Yeah,
And
awesome.
that's what the Council of Men taught you. Now,
Pardon me.
th- th- this Council of Men, like, where's the Council of Women?
My first question. That was my first question. I was like,
Yeah, like,
okay, it's nice to counsel of men, but where are the women? Right.
yeah,
And
yeah,
yeah. And creators said there's a lot of female energy around you, but you just don't see it. The reason why they're showing me the
mm,
council of men right now is because they felt that I needed to heal from male energy that had wounded me in the past. And so
okay,
I needed to know that I was absolutely unconditionally loved by all these men and the male
okay,
masculine energy. And so I
yeah,
had to allow that male masculine energy back into my heart, because man, I had a wall up. I was like, I didn't want anyone in my world. And they gave me that release. They gave me the ability to say, okay, I'm ready to find that beautiful soul and trust him unconditionally. I had already found Michael or Miles in my life. And yeah, but I guess they could see I was still really apprehensive, and I wasn't loving myself. I
mm,
was I was judging myself because he came from a good Catholic family that were like
Okay.
out of the pages of, beautiful, images of what a family would be like. And my family was really beautiful as well, but my mom was Aboriginal, and my dad, he had
And
years of
when you
drinking.
say Aboriginal, like what does that mean?
In
Aboriginal.
Canada, it would be like Native American, Native Canadian. So
Okay.
Ojibwe and Cree, Cherokee, Cherokee
Okay.
Nation, that kind.
Okay.
Yeah. Indian,
Okay. Okay.
Indian, North
Wow.
America.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I don't look it, I know. There is a blonde in every generation in our family. And when my babies were born, my first child, I looked at her and I was like, I didn't know I was Aboriginal at that point or Native at that point. And I looked at her, I was like, what happened here? Because Miles was blonde hair, blue eyed. I'm blonde hair, blue eyed. And then this
Oh
little one,
wow.
oh, she was very native looking. And
Wow.
it
That's
was it
interesting.
was after that, yeah, that I
Genetics.
discovered, yeah, genetics. Yeah.
Well,
So
how can people not go to hell? Because we're told that if you're gay, you go to hell. We're told
oh yeah.
that if you do all these bad things, you're going to hell. If so like how can people just get out? Like, I don't want to go to hell. So how can people get out of that energy?
So I believe that's all human construct in order to control. So,
Mm,
to say, yeah, an abortion, you're going to hell. You're gay, you're going to hell. That's all human construct. And because in the God that I met and the Jesus I met, they were so unconditionally loving. And the biggest push was for me to love myself and let go of my own judgment of myself. So
mm.
that's the biggest way to make sure you don't experience what I did. Just love thyself, love thyself, love thyself. In fact, like that's the preamble, the what do you call it, the preface in the book. The very last part of it is, what I learned there is to love thyself, love thyself, love thyself, and take steps every single day into loving yourself. Speak kindly to yourself. Look in the mirror and go, gosh, I'm so beautiful. Doesn't matter if you're 50 pounds overweight or 300 pounds overweight. You start loving yourself, and your body and mind and spirit will act in response to that love. And
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 that's as
you'll
opposed
transform
to guilt and shame that you
all
were
that crap,
feeling. And where does
all
Jesus
that.
play a role in that? Like, where does
Oh,
Jesus
Jesus is
come
everything.
into that?
God is everything. Yeah, God is
Okay.
everything. Jesus is everything. For me, Jesus and God were very different, and I saw Jesus as he had had a human experience, but he was such an evolved soul, and so
Yeah.
he holds a special place in the white void. Um,
Yeah.
he has transcended, right? And
Hmm.
that's what we all are able to do. And that's, I believe, what our mission here is to do, is for all of
Yeah.
us to come from a place of unconditional love for humanity and all living things, and even all non-living things. Because I believe that this mic has a spirit and a soul to it. I believe that the piano behind me has a spirit and a soul to it. And when you speak
Yeah.
kindly to it and treat it well and love it, that spirit within all the inanimate objects around us respond. But even
Mm,
more so for the trees, the flowers, the everything, they all have an energy that we share, and it's a God source energy that lives within us. And so um, I believe our mission here is to activate that God source energy and just love each other unconditionally. And believe me, I think it's one of the hardest things that I've ever been tasked to do, because
yeah.
I'm human. I get angry sometimes and I say really negative things. I was watching a
Yeah.
video the other day, and I was watching another psychic, and I was like, she's not very good.
Mm.
I was judging that psychic. I was like,
Right.
I don't know. Yeah, I was going off on her, and I thought, wait a minute. It took me a couple of days, but actually getting ready for the interview, I read a little bit of my own book, and it was like, oh my gosh, I'm not practicing the 5 lessons here. I
Right.
was judging, and yeah, it's time that we stop judging not only ourselves but other people, and and stepped
It
into
it's
the
funny.
light.
I started to because I seen this exercise they say because it's sometimes it's your subconscious. So I started brushing my teeth with the opposite hand. I'm left-handed, so I started
Super.
brushing with my right hand, and then after I finish brushing my teeth, I say "I love you, Erikka" 10 times in the mirror, like over
Yep.
and over and over again to like
Yep.
get that in there to
Yeah.
practice that.
And how do you feel when you do it?
I feel good. I feel it sets the intention for the day. Um, I
Super.
hope it. I hope it even on a subconscious level like helps me how I treat people before I speak, and I hope it helps all of that because I'm trying to change like all of that. But I know you have to go within to
Yeah.
change.
Baby
So
steps, isn't it? Yeah.
yeah,
And it's like
yeah,
reprogramming your computer
yeah.
program,
That's
right?
exactly what I'm trying to
So,
do. Yeah,
right. Well, I'd say you're not even trying it, you're actually doing it, because
yeah. You
trying
know
is
what?
like trying to pass the fault, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I should stop saying that's another. I have to stop saying I'm trying. I am doing
Yeah.
it. You're right. I
Yeah.
am doing it.
Yeah.
Now, for
That's what,
people that they, say they're watching this and they're like, I need reprogramming. I need help
yeah.
with the 5 lessons. Like, how
Yeah.
can they get in contact with you, and how can you help them with that?
Easy. I am actually doing 2 workshops. I'm doing one this coming weekend, July 5th and 6th, and it's going to be online. So we'll record it, and I'm going to be offering that on a regular basis on the website,
Okay.
carriekohan.com. And it's Carrie like the movie, Carrie, and
Okay.
Kohan, Kohan. So carriekohan.com, you can go there, look at our workshops. I'm going to be doing a live event here in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, and that is
Okay.
the 18th, 19th, 20th. Now, these workshops were downloaded and they're spirit driven
Hmm.
and given. And I've worked with some of the best in the world. I worked with Tony Robbins and Joel Bauer. Joel Bauer and
Okay.
I were business partners in Arizona for a long time. And oh gosh, so many of them. And I learned from all of them. I was kind of the coordinator behind the scenes, right?
Yeah.
But all that
Yeah.
time I was being a sponge, and so when I started to teach my own course, I literally prayed and said, okay, Lord, I need your help. You got to co-create with me here. And so I knew I was going to have a course. This was 213. I'd been teaching since 1993. So my near death experience, I started teaching classes and courses back then. But in 2013, I gathered 12 people around, and my
Hmm.
fiance at the time, Shorty was his name. He wasn't so short; he was a big, tall guy, cowboy. And he said to me, "Do you know what you're going to be teaching?" I said, "I don't have a clue. I'm just winging it. I'm letting spirit speak through me." And so we started on a Friday evening. We went till Sunday at 6 o'clock. I knew I wanted to finish by 6. We finished within 2 minutes of 6 p.m. And so, and I think it's probably one of the most powerful courses I've ever witnessed. It deals with every aspect of your life: relationship, finances, emotional.
Hmm.
um, I've had people that have come to me that have had mysterious illnesses for ever. I've had one lady, she was in and out of juvie institutions, and 40 years she was basically, judged by the system. And she
Hmm.
came in, and we realized she's an empath. And so I taught her some exercises, and man, changed her life. Totally changed her life.
Wow.
She was never the same after that. She was 100% in power of herself, and realized that all those years, she was on a different timeline. So, anyways, it's life changing. So that's what we're doing this weekend coming up, and then people can still sign up for that. It's online, so we have people coming
Okay.
from all around the world. So I'll give you the links for it if that's all right. And then
Yeah,
the live
definitely.
one is
I
two
definitely want
weeks
to put
later.
all of that in the description, so
Perfect.
definitely share those links.
Yeah.
And wow, I mean, thank you. Like,
Oh, and
thank you
one
so
more
much.
thing. Oh,
Yeah.
I love you, honey. Yeah. One more thing is I started a podcast myself, so I'd love to have you on it
Okay.
and promote what
Oh,
you're doing.
wow. For
Yeah,
sure.
it's with my co-host Glenn, and he is a hoot. He's so much fun. He's a real card. And so we talk everything spiritual on the show, and we look into. I pull cards, and so we look into politicians and what's going on in the world and
Okay. Okay.
timelines. Yeah, so that's really interesting. And we're on Twitch .tv with that one. It's called The Mystic Compass. You
Okay.
put
So you
the
guys are
in the
you
front.
guys are you guys are streaming, like
Yeah, we're
live
streaming
streaming.
live.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay, okay, okay.
yeah.
I'll definitely share that, and definitely let me know. I would love that. I've been thinking about the
Oh,
streaming. It's That's something I've been thinking about.
fantastic. Well, it's a
And
new world to me
what's
because
the podcast called again? What's it called again?
The Mystic Compass on twitch.tv. Now, Twitch I
Okay,
had never heard of before I met. I hired an assistant. Her name is Tammy. And Tammy said, "Well, why don't you come and stay with me here in Alberta while I was here for a couple of months because I'm getting my, it's a long story. I'm getting my residency in the UK. I've been married with my husband for 10 years,
okay.
and we finally thought, okay, I better apply for my residency and actually live with them full time in the UK because we usually meet up wherever I'm traveling to and speaking. He travels to me, and I go for a
That's
couple of months
awesome.
in the UK. It's been great. So now I have to be outside the country in order to apply. So while I was here, Tammy says, why don't you come and stay with me? So I come here, and just like 2 days before I arrived here, I was praying, saying, "Oh, dear Lord, please, I'd love to start a podcast, but I need someone that can help me with that. I need to have a
Oh
technician,
wow.
someone that really knows their stuff." I walk through the door, and Tammy gives me a tour of the house, and it's a nice, beautiful house. There's Glenn's room, and he has like 3 screens and 3 or 4 cameras, and it's all
Oh
set up
wow.
for a podcast and streaming, live streaming. I was like, "Oh
Yeah.
my God, you have this?"
There
And
you
he was like,
go.
"Yeah, yeah." And it just fell into place. I love how creator works. I love how, when you are in alignment, how everything just falls into place when the time is right.
Mm.
And the time was right. So
What's it called? They call it
synchronicity.
synchronicity. Yeah,
Very
synchronicity.
good.
That's
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah.
You giving
Yeah.
me more faith. You giving me more faith in everything just by
Oh,
talking to you. So I appreciate that.
oh,
Yeah, that's what it
I
is.
love you,
This is
Erica.
real. Yeah, I
Yeah.
love you
Yeah.
too,
Oh,
man.
definitely.
Like this is real.
Yeah, it's been a journey, that's for sure, and
Yeah,
and it isn't all roses. I think that a lot of people that are light workers that are being called to do the work, God's work,
yeah,
you know, they think life should be easier. This sucks.
right. Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
and
It's work.
and there's twofold. Yeah, there's twofold to this. I think that we have to go through those trials and tribulations, to actually step into unconditional faith. And
Yeah,
and for instance, if Creator was to give you millions and you were not in alignment with Creator, if you were not in that really strong position of faith, if the millions came to you, man, you would be out of control.
Lord.
You would be
Yeah.
like some people that are in court right now,
I
right?
was about I was
Like,
just in my head, I was just saying that like Diddy, like, yeah, yeah,
exactly.
just
That
like
was what
him.
I was thinking. Yeah, because
Yeah,
if you don't have God as first, or God, Buddha, Allah, whoever it is for you, if you don't have that faith first, then when the riches come in, you can be out of control and you can go real dark real fast. And
yeah,
so
yeah.
I think that's why we go through so many trials and tribulations. So we do put Creator first. And when the millions do
Mm,
come, because
you
I've
know what
had
to
them
do.
come and go and come and go. They always went with a boyfriend or a fiance. I'd build up multi-million-dollar companies, and then they'd walk and they'd take all the millions, and I go, "Oh, damn it, I'm starting again." I can
That's
do
life.
this.
That's
I've done
life,
it
isn't it?
before. It's
Yeah,
life.
yeah,
Yeah. So what do, right? You start over because I'm not attached to the money. The money will come
right.
and it goes, but it came back again. And so now I'm realizing it doesn't have to go. I don't have to let it go. And
Yeah,
and so now it's building up, and I understand that I'm able to let it in finally without any worry that I would be
That
corrupted
you're
or
gonna
I'd
lose
be,
it.
that I would put money as a god first, because that
Yeah.
happens, right?
Yeah.
And so that's why I think so many light workers go through so much, because it doesn't have to be the lifestyle. We get caught up often in that it's trial and tribulations, and being spiritual means
Yeah.
that you're poor. No, it means
Yeah.
that
No.
you're building up your muscle. And when you come from a utter place of faith and love, not only for yourself, but all, for everything
Humanity.
concerned, including God and Jesus and all the angels and your spirit guides and everyone, without any judgment, right?
Right.
That's when magic begins and the abundance flows.
Wow. That was beautiful. Well, tell the people where they can find you on the socials.
Oh, I love you, honey. Oh gosh, all the socials. Facebook is Carrie Kohan, or it might be no, it's the Mystic Compass. I think it's the Mystic
Okay.
Compass on Facebook. You know what? Can I
Okay.
send you all the links and you put it
Yeah,
in the
definitely send me.
description?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'll definitely do all that for sure.
yeah. The biggest one is carriekohan.com. If you
That's
go
yeah,
there,
the website.
you're going to see the book. Actually, this you can get on Amazon, you can get
Amazon.
on Barnes and Noble, Walmart, everyone online.
Okay.
Chapters in the UK, it's on Waterstone online. So it's available in 43 countries. It's been translated into Spanish, Japanese, English, and Portuguese. And
Okay.
so it's done really, really well. But it's such a beautiful message. How could it not, right? And I've
Definitely.
never
That is
advertised it.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah. well,
not one ad, not one
well,
ad.
listen, you
This is
got me fired
all.
up. You
Oh,
got me you got me
sweet
fired
of
up
you.
in faith and trust and love.
Yeah,
I definitely appreciate you. I know my audience will definitely enjoy
yeah,
all the gems and all the learnings from this. And
yeah.
of course, everyone, you can find Vision Rebirth on all social media platforms. And then my name is the_real E on all the platforms. Were you about to say something?
No, I'm just really
Oh,
appreciating you as well. So I was thinking,
yeah.
well,
Yeah.
we got to get you on my podcast as well. I look
Yeah.
forward to
Oh,
that.
listen.
Yeah,
Listen,
yeah.
we'll definitely do that for sure. I would
Okay,
love that.
so like in 3 weeks, I'd say, because it's so ironic. I love how spirit works, right? Because just last night, Glenn, we all live together. Glenn and his wife,
Yeah.
Tammy, and I live in this beautiful house of theirs. And Glenn came upstairs last night and he goes, I just had a download. I just had this beautiful idea pop in. And I think we should actually get people that are podcasters that have had spiritual experiences. We should get them on for
Yeah.
like 15 minutes and ask them a series of questions like, what happened? What did you experience? How did you wake up?
Yeah.
And what's your story? And I think if we
I
do
would
that
love to
every
tell
week,
y'all that. Yeah, I've had the thing is with me is I've had like spiritual experiences, but
yeah.
I don't like my parents told me about them. Like I don't remember it
Wow.
because I was so young. But my parents and
Wow.
like older people in my family tell me about it all the time, and I'm like, well, like I wish I can. I'm trying to summon the powers now.
Okay, so you got to come to my workshop this weekend. It's only
For
$50.
sure.
It's normally
Okay.
I normally charge $17.97, $1,797 Canadian.
Okay.
That was
Okay.
my fee. And I've been hearing, give it away, Carrie, give it away, give it away, give it away. So I
Wow.
dropped it down to $50 Canadian, which is like
Wow.
35 USD, I think, something like that. And
Right.
and
Right.
it's 2 full days. 2 full days.
Okay.
So go
Okay.
to carriekohan.com and you'll see the online workshop. Go there, click on it quick, because I think we only have I God works in mysterious ways, and so does that dark hat, I tell you. Because I find that some technical issues pop up, but I
Ah,
just discovered this morning talking with my assistant. She goes, "Do you know that all the sales for your workshop ended?" I was like, "What are you talking about?" She goes, "No one can register for your workshop." I was like, "Are you
hmm.
kidding me?" And I went online, and sure enough, it had ended. I was like, "We still have weeks ahead for the live event." And so that made sense why there weren't that many registered so far. So I corrected it, got it up and running again. And so yeah, we're in business again. So don't worry about
That's
that. There's
good.
not that big numbers yet. It'll fill up. Yeah,
For sure.
it'll
Well,
be
I
good.
definitely appreciate
Yeah,
you again. And this is
yeah.
Vision Rebirth. My name is E. And cut.